What's going on, guys? Pegasus and the Wise Guys, and I'm here to remind you that birds are chirping. Let's get into it.
So now we got that out of the way, guys. Let's get straight into the profile. Mine is a little bit different. I'm playing it specifically for this reason, to kind of sculpt it around what is going on inside of the game, and then also kind of talk about some other stuff. Preface this by saying I'm not playing Apex Avian actually at all, but if you do miss Apex Avian, I definitely would recommend citing it. I just feel like it's just not that good right now, and the tempo of the card just isn't as strong as it could be. However, in simplified game state, it always is what it is, so you know, let's just roll with that. So the first cool part about the deck, and where I kind of have deviated a little bit, and I will have two different profiles as you see that running across your screen. I wanted to talk about what I'm doing here. I'm playing triple Empen. Now, this is very different, and the reason that I'm doing it is simply because what I found is where this card was falling short and basically falling behind because it would remove itself back onto the field. And then usually if I'm playing against an opponent playing Sprite, or I'm playing against Runic, or I'm playing against another, there's just so many different things that I could be playing against. Just wasn't resolving and putting enough pressure. However, the Empens were. And the Empens were because each time you grab a Floowandereeze card, it essentially is pressure in itself. So instead of hoping and wishing with defense that is probably going to get dark coolered anyway, I just went with searching for a card, and usually it's chain blocked anyway, so I'm always going to profit some kind of card. That's why I'm playing triple Empen, and you'll see why as I continue through the deck why I'm playing other cards to kind of set up and facilitate this. So I really like it, and I highly recommend it right now, genuinely. As far as moving on, the last tribute that I'm playing, I'm actually playing MAYDEW. Yes, MAYDEW is still very powerful, still can be looped, still is pretty much the best, technically the best card in the deck because it ends the game the most. And I didn't want to play 2 Ryza. I don't like that. I just bounced this one over and over again. I feel like usually you can just do fine with one and just bounce it and yada lock people with it and just devastate people with it. MAYDEW is still very powerful. Apex Avian is too, but that, you know, it's just not for the moment. Just my opinion. As far as the birds that are chirping, most definitely 3 Rabina, 3 Eaglin, 1 Toucan, and 1 Stree. Again, these are the new printings of these cards. You guys know what these do. Searches level 7 or higher. Searches any of them, and is the wheels. You guys know about Rabina. Don't need to go over that. Just the new rarities look really nice. Toucan is still really powerful, and also combos well with the fact that, well, this is a Floowandereeze card instead of an Apex Avian. So a lot of times if you get stunned by an Eaglin and you still have the field spell, you can still kind of get to setting up and plussing the way that you want to, which is another reason that I'm playing triple Empen. So it all kind of ties together. I'll have a combo video later on this week and like a scenario kind of situation. So we'll compendium, whatever the hell the word is. Y'all know what I mean. It'll just be kind of going over some like scenarios and combos and stuff like that, and new school stuff, just because you got to kind of play around the new boards. As far as the last monsters, 3 Shifter and the barrier statue. This 40th card in my deck, I have waffled back and forth. This can be 2 barrier statue. I actually, as you see that flashing across your screen, shout out to that. I like doing those inside of the profile just so people can kind of save some time. Sometimes people don't have all day to sit here. But double statue is very powerful, and so is dimensional fissure. I'm experimenting going back and forth with it too. I really like double statue. I'm probably going to shift this and probably move this to the side possibly, or just kind of cut it. But it's so powerful that it's definitely something that you should play or strongly consider, because, well, dimensional fissure is just another dimension shifter when you're going first, and it outs all of the hand traps that this would anyway. Just kind of saying. And it's a floodgate that's going to sit there on the field, and it's going to be a longer lasting shifter at some points in some scenarios. Against like Runic, it's not good, and getting deck devved and stuff like that, that sucks. So, you know, it just may be something that you're going to have to kind of mess around with. But this could also be mine. I'm not playing mine anywhere in here. Kind of tired of the card. I just like playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But, you know, obviously events come, slip a mine in here somewhere. It's that easy. I'm not going to talk super duper strategy on Floowandereeze cards because you know how people feel about this deck, but who cares about them? Birds are chirping. And all will bow before Emperor Penguin. Triple map, triple advent, triple pot, triple pot of duality, double dark ruler. The dark rulers are at 2. I was playing 3, but I wanted one more back row card, so I just slid that out, slid that in, and it just works out perfectly. And most of the time, I just want to have multiple preparations for back row, and this deck kind of naturally has it, as well as just has kind of loose cards that I play to kind of help that out. A double Book of Moon, you couldn't play 3. I overdraw them when I play 3, so I like 2. I really like 2 of both of these because I draw them just enough, and it's kind of perfect, and they always kind of show up, and you can sculpt your hand and not overdraw cards. So that's just my opinion. That's how kind of all of that part of my engine of the deck is kind of working. These are most of the cards that you sculpt. Obviously, there's some other cards that I'm going to get to in a second, but just sculpting with these cards is very, very important inside of this deck because the setup is pretty much the setup, and a lot of times your opponent just can't play besides that. As far as rounding out some of the last cards in the deck, I am playing 40. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm playing 40 though. 1 terraforming, double wins. Again, more search targets for Empen is why. Just how I'm kind of calling it. More ability to search more cards becomes more powerful and is more of a plus, where again the trade-off with this, a lot of times I can go like map, put this in the banish pile in case they stopped like Eagle Infect, grab it back. If I have this, tribute anyway. That's what I mean. Like, more searchability is better right now because these other decks like Tearlament, like Sprite, like Runic, some of these decks are so fast, you have to have answers immediately. Like if you get cracked with a Majesty's Fiend, you got to get it off the board. And it's also a draw card, so that's why I'm playing it like that. It's also a draw card, and where people were playing Extravagance in the past, and yes, that is very, very powerful, I'm playing a little bit more birds, and having naturally the ability to go second in a little bit of a stronger fashion, I can just probably tribute over something and just continue to play. So that again is why I'm playing triple Empen, and then that just works perfectly with that, and it's been working greatly for that. As far as the last cards, I wanted to talk about one by one. Called by the Grave, simply because Called by the Grave has a innate ability to just blow out certain hand traps that you just couldn't dodge, and it just blows out Tearlament, and that's pretty much what I always crack it with. A lot of times if I'm playing the Smorg build, which I'll be showing, make sure you stay tuned, this card is very, very strong in certain situations, and it's just right on time, and it's a sack card that I hope never gets hit, and I hope it goes back to 3 at some point actually. Feather Duster, again for back row, and you have to kind of main it, but this card can be a clear flex spot just because, you know, if you're getting eradicated to death, this card isn't good, which is crazy. But as far as like if you're playing against a lot of random jank and you just want to blow out back row, for the Feather Duster, it catches people at the right time, and it's just clean when it does. It can be a second Dreaming Town maybe. This could be the statue instead. There's really, I feel like 38 cards of this deck are absolutely correct. And the 2 cards I wanted to talk about that I know are correct, we all know about Dreaming Town. Dreaming Town being simply a Book of Eclipse and an Escalation of the Monarchs for the Floowandereeze archetype is just, it's really, really powerful. You can play 2, and again, this could be the flex, and the other statue could be where Dimensional Fissure is, and then you just really have a lot of oppressiveness really going on inside of your deck. And I'm playing Reboot in the main, and the reason that I'm playing that is because I've been eradicated to death online. I've been deck dev a lot. I've seen people setting up like deck dev in game 1. I've just seen a lot of really powerful trap cards that we never really give their just due, and I feel like I don't struggle with mine. I can always out it with you know, like cards like Winds, and just the deck itself can just not care about getting mined. and I don't really care about setting up mine because I just like to play the resource game. And again, this is a control deck really, but it really can play like a mid-range deck, and that's kind of how I'm playing this one, and it's been working out very, very well. And that happened with the triple Empen, and the reboot is just going to save you in some scenarios, whether they're setting anti-spell, whether they're setting the eradicator, whether there's whatever they're doing, this reboot is going to help you. And I feel like this is something you should consider in other decks. Just my opinion. That's 40 cards in the main deck. As far as the side deck, mine is specifically geared to what I deal with online a lot, but I'll be playing this pretty soon at locals again, just to get back to, you know, making people bow before Emperor Penguin. Just kidding. DD Crow, Twin Twister, Trap Tricks, and the other Dreaming Town are the cards that start off my side deck. They're one-ofs. If Shifty ever gets hit, the easy setup for me, my opinion, it would be to slip Triple Crow into your deck if the format is still what it is, or if graveyard stuff is still what it is. Probably if the Shizu is a thing, I don't know how much is gonna, I have to like research all that stuff just because I took a long break from the game. Y'all noticed it when we took a long break from the videos. But as far as getting back to these, the Trap Trick can just be other copies of other cards inside of this. This is the second Dreaming Town, so this can be a copy of this, and it can also kind of combo off with a Toucan. By being able to banish one, then you're going to have a target for a Toucan to be able to grab one back. So that's really, really strong. And then the Twin Twister kind of adds on to the other back row removal that I'm playing. Hopefully you're not getting eradicated, because these won't help you, but you still need back row removal. And playing Cosmic Cyclone is a lose more card, because you're playing a card that loses to Lancia. Not that Lancia is everywhere, but you know, if you're just getting cracked in the dome by stuff that says you can't banish, you don't want cards that say banish. So that's why that is. Cosmic Cyclone is still really, really powerful, and if you don't see people playing Lancia, just go back to Cosmic Cyclone. It's a better card. But MST gets around all that, and Twin Twister is probably better than both of them. I'm playing evenly as well, in my opinion. Nobody's playing an answer. Like Tier Limits aren't playing the Crime Trap card. I disagree with the card, with not playing it, because it's a counter trap. It's Omni Negate, and it's really, really stupid and pushes your game state forwards anyway. And it's a combo piece anyway in case something gets banished. So if I'm playing against that, if I'm playing against Eldritch, if I'm playing against other decks where they're trying to set up a whole lot and they don't have a way to protect themselves, people get stunned by this card still. It's an age-old thing that's just not changing, so I'm just not going to change playing the card. If something specifically I needed to prepare for, these would be easy cuts, and you would just have to struggle with the back row that day in that format. But I guess if you have the reboot in the main and you have the unexplored winds and feather dusted, I feel like you can be okay. But again, eradicator and all that, hopefully the list changes a lot of that stuff. It is what it is with that. As far as the Trap Trick targets that I also am talking about, probably maybe cut one and then make it double Trap Trick, and then you could have essentially just waves of hitting people with trap cards. So maybe this should be another Trap Trick, but then again, I don't want to draw multiple Trap Tricks. So that's like, I always want to draw this card, and then if I can draw one of these cards, like the second one of these, if I can set up one of these, they're probably gonna lose. And if the Trap Trick could come up, if I want to play another Trap Trick, then the Trap Trick could just come up and start grabbing me trap cards fast, and then I won't brick on them and I won't draw them instead. So that's kind of the ratio you have to kind of mess around with. That's all for the main and the side. And in the extra deck, again, y'all know it doesn't matter. You can play, you slip a Downward Magician in here. As far as like cards you can play, definitely play Underworld Goddess. That one's on actual loan. I have a lot of people that I loan out cards to, and a lot of people, shout out to the viewers that actually send me cards. I had a homie viewer send me a one of these cards. I forget what it was, but I needed, the Juggernaut Leap. So shout out to the homie Lucas, appreciate you, bro. And then as far as the other cards, these are just cards most of the time. This is the only thing that's really going to come up, just because you need to kind of have utility like this in your extra deck. The last card I'm going to talk about, I've talked about it in the tech video. Sorry if I got a little bit off center, but I talked about it in a tech video, and it simply is just super duper strong. Again, some of those could have been Ultimate Slayer targets, but as far as this is concerned, I'm playing this simply because it's an out to mine. If you get mine, in case you've never seen this before, I'll just go over it really quick, and I'm gonna go over it again in the combo video. So just make sure this is kind of like a preview of what you would have. Essentially, a lot of the times you end on like barrier statue. I haven't seen anybody do this online. This is all, I feel like it's for me. I'm not saying that in an arrogant fashion, but I don't feel like this many people have seen it, so I just wanted to talk about it. A lot of times you end on this, right? Or you end on 2 winged beast monsters, and they're like, mine. You're like, ah, crap. And I'm not playing Apex Avian, so they're like, ah, gotcha. Where for me, what I do is link these 2 off if I follow up. And then if I have this in some kind of capacity, hopefully I can just set that up and then get it right off the field. And then just wait till the end phase, boom, get rid of this, go search another card, mine falls off. And I have the trap card. I usually have a map on the field, or it's coming back to me. Sometimes that's what it is. I'll leave this on the board, and then nobody ever sees it coming, and I'll just wait till the end phase, get this off the board, kill them. And that, guys, is the profile. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you check out the clothing line. It's coming soon. Had a little bit of a snag that we're dealing with, but it is coming. So make sure you tune in and make sure you cop some clothing. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Pegasus out. Arrivederci.